I actually want to bring you to the next core topic, which is wars in India. And we had this beautiful conversation about wars. Something that's not spoken enough about wars. In our medieval times, by Chanakya himself, there was some dark magic and occult used in the war.
Yes.
So, sir, you actually read up a lot about occult. And for those of you who don't know the meaning of occult is basically like, I think the Hindi word for it would be something like kala jaadu, like, am I correct?
Yeah.
Or dark things, ghosts, demons, things like that, witches, all that's included in occult. So what is this element of Chanakya using occult to defeat his enemies? Can you just like break it down?
Absolutely. So let me tell you, occult and what you call black magic and things like that, otherworldly practices, is used across the globe. So please understand this, that what is occult from an Indian perspective? See, you rightly put it, there is a darker side to it which is not generally spoken about, kala jadoo and all those things. Now what happens is that if you look at things that are known and things that are unknown, and typically what happens is that when you are not able to find success in the known methods, you try to look at unknown methods. And that's where, slowly from faith in God, you start even worshipping the devils. So there are, people who pray to bhoot, pret and, get things in place.
Jaadu ke saath with a skull.
It still happens, and there are a lot of systems which promotes kala jadoo. I am very careful about this whole thing because once you get into that, it's a mental trap. So let me also give the other side before I tell you about Chanakya and the wars. And that as there is black magic, there is also white magic. Not many people have heard about what is white magic, right? So what is black magic, the darker side of it? But white magic is actually healing you through the right methods. So invite the otherworldly people. So the people who invite the demons and the devils are the occult, but the people who invoke the devatas, they are also using it. So at the very superficial level, if you look at two people fighting or two kingdoms fighting, it's generally known as the military war. Where we have people who are having the army with soldiers, elephants, better weapons. But as things become bigger, it becomes subtler. So what happens at one particular point of time, Chanakya also realized that we need to use the otherworldly practices. I'm not here to recommend that, but the reality is that it is practiced even today to some extent.
So but what was the practice? Like exactly kya hota tha?
Okay, so if you read the Arthashastra, this is actually mentioned in detail. So what they will do is that, like if you look at the positive part of it. So today we do yajna, havan, So we call the priest, and then we put certain ahutis in it, and then we invoke the god and saying that, oh God, give me this particular thing.
You're bringing positive energy into a place.
Positive. So if you look at the other side of it, you actually invoke the darker gurus, the darker devatas, and the ahutis would be sacrifice, the animal sacrifice, and then you get all the. So everything is mentioned in detail, and you look at it a little bit negatively. I said, okay, this Veda practice is not practiced by Chanakya, but even the people before it. So if you look at, there were many gurus. Some gurus actually promoted it in a big way. Like we have Brahaspati and Shukracharya. So one is the devata of the gods and the other is the devata of the demons. So they will use all this occult practice. Chanakya mentions and said, okay, let us try this and not try this. So what is interesting, it goes into even finding out certain parts of maybe an animal.
Secrets of like the enemy.
Absolutely. So they practice it, they use it, there's witchcraft involved and things like that. So what happens, in those days, everything is fair in love and war. So they used many techniques, including the occult.
But so what was the result of the occult on the enemy? Like they used to fall ill, they used to get demoralized. Like kya hota tha?
So there are three levels of occult. One is at the physical level, the second is at the mental level, and the third is at the intellectual or spiritual level, I would say. At the physical level, a person actually, what we call in today's generation probably, what is that? Biochemicals.
Got it.
So
chemicals of warfare.
Warfare, exactly. Yeah. So, you just pollute a complete river.
Yeah.
And then everybody drinks it and everybody dies. So that's the very physical aspect of it. At the mental level, what happens, wo jaadu टूना करके कर देते हैं. The whole people lose their mental balance. The whole society goes crazy. At the intellectual level, you confuse them.
Yeah.
So, what do you say, that you send a wrong message and people start believing it. Yeah. So what's interesting is that finally in the game of war, you try various techniques. What is all this? Trying to use the negative practices to win over the enemy.
Okay, got it. So basically Shanapan and and little bit I'm sure there's deeper stuff. There's also mental and spiritual trauma.
Let me also tell you, you have to be very, very physically, mentally and intellectually strong to understand this, because if you use this can actually rebound on you.
Like karma. Like it can hit you back.
Exactly. So if you misuse it, you can be the one get affected. Let me tell you, I know of a person, I really know of a particular person who used to do all these things, and it was like very shocking for me.
Yeah.
And then they said, I never ever promoted. What happened? Because my father actually got impacted by that.
Oh, wow.
His father went crazy. So a person who knew the science and he studied it, a lot of witchcraft and all those things, he said, no, I stopped it because I realized when I was trying to use it to somebody, it actually came to my family. So be very careful. It can rebound, and what you want to destroy somebody else can actually destroy you. Be very careful.